Welcome to Fleet Scrap, Blockade and Modulation. The blockade tactic is a passive ability that allows the player to reduce the deployment value of one opponent each round, as long as the ship was in fleet the previous round. Even though it's only 1 or 2 points per ship shown, they are added together when in the same fleet. So, if the ships above are all in fleet, one player would subtract 6 from their deployment. Multiple players may target the same opponent, adding their blockade values together. By example, if one player has 2 points of blockade and another player has 3 points, they could collectively apply 5 points of blockade on a third player. The secondary effect of blockade is to reduce any incoming raid damage to the fleet for the same values. This does not require the ship to have been in fleet the previous round. As noted, all mercenary ships ignore deployment blockades. By example, if the deployment value is 6 but someone is blockading you for 3, you could deploy up to 3 defense worth of other ships and then deploy the rest with mercenary ships. Some operations are also able to counter blockades as noted on the cards. The two on the right don't specifically say to ignore blockade, but neither of them is affected by that tactic. Countering the blockade tactic is possible with the modulation tactic. The points are additive in the same way blockade is, but modulation can only affect a player's own fleet. All modulation ships must also have been in fleet the previous round to be effective. Modulation's secondary effect is to add 1 point per modulation ship in fleet to the player's deployment value. Not only does this require the modulation ships to have been in fleet the previous round, but also there must be no opponent blockade being applied. Modulation points can be split as necessary. If all of the above ships happen to be in fleet and there are 3 points of blockade being applied from an opponent, the Overseer would be enough to counter the blockade while the other ships add 3 to the deployment value. Blockade can only be directed at a single opponent per deployment phase. During salvo, the blockade reduces raid damage from all opponents. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn more about Fleet Scrap, check out the other videos available on this channel and see links in the description below.